celebrating the launch of this, which is the second issue of Granta magazine that's fully translated. And we do make a point to sort of seek out translations for each issue of the magazine, but regardless of what theme we're pursuing. But we're really aware that as a nation we know very little, or maybe not enough, about literatures outside our language. And in the recent past, we've partnered with publishers around the world, and we now have a healthy and growing roster of sister editions. We have Grantas in Spain, Italy, and Brazil that are well established, and new partnerships that this year will see us publishing in Bulgaria, Norway, Finland, Sweden, China, Portugal, and in Turkey. And we're really hoping that all of this activity will lead to a cross-fertilization, so we'll be getting writing from these editions to make our pages truly international. But tonight we're celebrating the best of young Brazilian novelists. This latest issue of Granta magazine was initiated by our sister edition in Brazil, and in their introduction, Roberto Faith and Marcelo Ferroni, who are the publisher and editor, lamented the fact that despite all of the attention focused on Brazil because of the World Cup and the oncoming Summer Olympics, the literary heritage of Brazil remains largely invisible to the outside world. And so this edition is an attempt to take some steps towards remedying that. It'll also be translated into Spanish and Chinese, bringing the work of the 20 selected novelists to close to 80,000 readers in Latin America, Spain, the US, the UK, and in China. Joining me this evening are two of our best young novelists, as well as a translator from the issue. And let me just take some time to introduce them. Michel Laub is a journalist and the author of 5 novels and several short stories, which are published in anthologies around the world, including in Italy, Spain, and Korea. He holds a degree in law and practiced for a short time in Porto Alegre before turning to journalism. In 1997, he moved to Sao Paulo and became the editor-in-chief of the magazine Bravo. From 2005 to 2010, he worked as the coordinator of publications and courses at the Instituto Moreira Salles. Did I say that right? Yeah. Good. Later assuming the role of online editor. Today he's a professor of creative writing and a contributor to several national publications. His latest novel, Journal of the Fall, received the Brasilia Award, the Bravo Badesco Prize, and the Eric Verissimo Award. It's being translated into Dutch, French, German, and Spanish, and will be published here by Harville Secker. It's also to be made into a film. In our issue of Granta magazine, Michel's written a story titled Animals, which was translated by Margaret Gil Costa. This is a series of vignettes which charts the lives and deaths of the pets of a Porto Alegre family. Some choke, some get run over, and one, a beloved dog named Champion, is mauled to death by a neighbor's Doberman. It's a compelling litany of oral snapshots composing a complex portrait of a family. We invited the British novelist Adam Thirlwell to read Michel's story and to introduce him on Granta.com, and this is what he said. It's very delicate and very brutal, the story. It makes me want to read everything Michel Laub has written. It also makes me want to learn another language. My second guest is Tatiana Salem-Levy, who holds degrees in Portuguese and French literature and literary studies, and she's worked as a translator from French to Portuguese. Currently based in Rio de Janeiro, Tatiana's award-winning debut novel has been translated into French, Italian, Romanian, Spanish, and Turkish, and her forthcoming novel will be published in Germany, Italy, and Portugal. Her story for the magazine is titled Blazing Sun and is translated by Alison Entrican. It's a transporting evocation of a city, part a love letter to Rio and part a goodbye to a nameless lover. Leaving behind the arid, orderly European world of her love, who fears that he is being replaced by a city, the narrator embraces the swelter of the metropolis, both atmospheric and human. A.L. Kennedy introduced Tatiana's work for us, and she says, Levy's writing is a joy, not for those weary of intensity or anxious for predictability. Her prose is rich, filled with a sense of the vividness and generosity of an author's available inspirations, the wonders of both beauty and ugliness, and the meaning and architecture of words themselves. And finally, I'd like to introduce Nick Caster, who translated a story called Evo Morales by Ricardo Lucias in the issue. He has worked as a journalist and is the author of several works of non-fiction, and has translated some 40 books from Spanish and Portuguese, including works by José Saramago, Manuel Montalbán, Carlos Fuentes, and Julio Cortázar. Nick has twice been awarded the Valle-Inclán Prize for Translation and is currently writing a study of Fidel Castro, as well as translating the work of a number of young Argentinian novelists. And I also wanted to point out that Nick was also a translator in our Best of Young Spanish Language Novelists issue and has gone on to translate the work of Andreas Neumann from that issue. He's worked extensively as a journalist reporting from Latin America during the turbulent dictatorship years of the 70s, and going on to produce and present programs for BBC Radio 4 and the World Service. Nick is currently a fellow at the University of East Anglia. Please join me in welcoming him.